Oh, hey, welcome back to Gizzard Frenzy. Today, I guess you could say I'm reviving a series that I did a couple months ago, but then soon abandoned because, well, let's be honest here, I hated it. The one that we will do today is Tron Legacy. Okay, section 2, we made it. This is what I liked about it, and I actually do like the movie. What I did like, the graphics. The graphics are really good, and they do still stand up for today's standards. And of course, you have things like an Endgame, who probably have better graphics, but you gotta take into account that this was 2010, and the graphics are still amazing. And I mean, they look gorgeous. They kind of set the bar as the original Tron movie did in the terms of graphics. They are really good. I mean, they are very crisp. I feel like half of this movie is CGI, which is not a problem in my opinion. I really do like that. Number 2, of course, Tron, the base, the original video game, the light cycles. They are amazing. I do love them. They look very nice. They still are based on like the original stuff in the original movie, but they have this revamped look and they have lights all over them and they look awesome. Number 2, Discourse, the other gladiatorial game. One thing I didn't like that I'll get onto later. We'll talk about that later. I like the it's awesome. I mean, the Rinsler shows up in this. The Rinsler's pretty much Tron. Well, it ends up being Tron. He ends up saving the day, pretty much. Well, almost. Yeah, and he's an awesome character. I bet they bring him back for the... If they make a new one, I bet they bring him back. Because they didn't really kill him off, and, Disney doesn't really kill off characters, is what I was supposed to say. Hence, Star Wars, Darth Maul, all that stuff. And Palpatine, you get the point. Yeah, I really do like the Discourse. They really do look... the graphics are awesome. The Rinsler, awesome character. I do love him. And of course, you have like the armory scene where he gets all dressed up in the suit, and the suit is amazing. I'll get onto that later. But yeah, there's so much about this movie that I like. Moving on, the soundtrack. Daft Punk made the soundtrack back in 2010. It is amazing. I bet every single video that you watch about Tron, they talk about the soundtrack because it is just that good. I love the soundtrack. It is probably one of the better movie soundtracks out there. Yeah, it's awesome. Every single separate music is great. If you go into the opening scene, well, the pseudo-opening scene where you meet older Sam Flynn when he's going on the motorcycle down the highway, going on to Encom Tower, I love the music in that. It is awesome. It is really good. Pretty much the music throughout the movie is great. You can't go wrong with it. It sets the bar for movie soundtracks. There have been some great ones, but this is personally my favorite. The story, I really do like the story. It's like just the eventually getting from the real world, getting sucked into the grid, and having to make it back out to the real world. It's not very complicated, but they do it very well. Yeah, I really do love when you execute a story very well and makes the movie great, even if it's simple. But it's still great like that. Next is the costumes. The costumes in this movie are unbelievable. They are such a step up from the original Tron. They look amazing. I love the Rinsler's costume. The mask with the orange lights and the costume that has like the 4 dots in the middle on the chest to, pretty much show that he's Tron. It is awesome. I love it. Also, just pretty much like the grid, the architecture with the black and with the black buildings and like the white accents. Beautiful. It is amazing how they did it, and it's such an upgrade from. The original was made in 1982, so it's kind of hard to compare, but it looks amazing, and the costumes are just beautiful. If you look at the costumes for the For the movie, you can't really complain. The one thing that I don't like about the costumes, which I'll get into more into the next section, that they don't give Clue a mask, but they do give him, but they don't put him in it that much. So once again, I'll get into that more later. So yeah, next, that's like I was gonna talk about the architecture, but I kind of told you about that. I mean, like the stadium, like what is it called? The pseudo Coliseum that they have, where the Disc Wars take place. That is awesome. I love the triangular shape, and it just looks awesome. And then the grid in general, it's just like the city. I guess the downtown is what they refer to it as in the movie. The big tower with the club on top. It looks pretty amazing. I also, yeah, that's like, whew. But yeah, that'll wrap up section 2. Okay, now we're moving on to section 3. Things I did not like. Pretty much the big thing that stands out about this movie that everybody hates is the VFX on young Sam Flynn and Clue. Pretty much the de-aging software. But I guess that's not really a big thing to complain about, because like if you look back at all those, like the VFX stuff, they all look crap and like, I mean, some of them are okay, like the Princess Leia and Rogue One is okay, but pretty much after that, it's like all crap. I mean, you have Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, he looks really bad. Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One also, he looks pretty bad too. And you have a bunch of other ones in different franchises and stuff, but they all look pretty bad. The one thing that I don't like about this one especially is that they could have disguised the fact that it looks so bad so easily. I mean, in so many scenes you have like young Jeff Bridges looking straight into the camera, and like the fake one, and it just kind of creeps you out because it just looks so fake. But what I absolutely hate in it is that they could have only used that face for like 1 or 2 scenes in like the flashbacks and when Clue meets Sam Flynn after the Disc Wars. Those are like the only 2 scenes that you need that, and like you make this pretty good looking helmet for Clue, and like you don't use it hardly ever except in like the light cycles and the light jets. Okay, we're on to our final segment here, section 4, what I would change. Things I kind of have a complaint with is that there's only one big scene with the light cycles, and that is literally what Tron is. It is a light cycle racing game, pretty much. That's like what the Tron video game is before the movies and stuff, and they only give it one scene. Well, we made it through the video. I do have plans in the works for another one. I hope that you enjoyed this one.